Everybody can hear my audio. Yep, everybody good? Okay, so with this live sales meeting for February, we're doing something that is a really nice. See, everybody that I've talked to got a whole lot out of that last live sales meeting, right? I saw everybody love the fact how to deal with one legs. They're probably one of the most challenging things we can have to deal with is the one leg situation. Not having all decision makers makes it very difficult to get a decision. And so what we did is what we tried to do is we're going to make this actually a 2-month talk about one legs, right? So what we're talking about today, let me share my screen real fast. Can everybody see my screen? Can I get a thumbs up? Up. Okay, so this is what we're talking about today is avoiding one legs. And this is part 2 of the discussion. The first part was done by Rodney, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it today. And we're going to have some real life situations that you guys can see. Now, the first thing we want to talk about, just get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way. Everybody knows about Boot Camp 2018. I will tell you guys, we're filling up fast. That room rate, it's at the freaking Westin, one of the nicest hotels in all of Atlanta. We got new content, the power of practice, something we're going to talk a little bit about today that I think you guys will really, really like. And, really good material. We got a sales and an executive part. And, of course, training from us. And one thing that I love is that we're going to actually have one of the best speakers out there, period, on his topic in the entire world, and then we'll have Chris Carter too. So one thing that's going to be really awesome is making sure you get there, get your room blocks, because you're going to look at paying probably $100, maybe more extra dollars per night per room if you don't get your room block locked in. So make sure you guys get that done. I'd hate to see you guys lose out on that. So kind of what we're talking about today and kind of what we went over the last time with Rodney was talking a little bit about the one-leg situation. And if you remember, he said a one-legger is not an objection, right? Everybody remembers that. And boy, I tell you what, sales reps were happy. Yes, finally, somebody told me I can't sell one-legs. I got a reason to tell them I didn't sell it now. And that's what we heard. But we don't always think past, because I heard a bunch of people happy because he's like, he had the lead setters in there. Man, he was talking to the canvassers. It's not my fault. This is the lead's fault. The question is, who made it that way? Who caused the one leg? Because, the classic deal is, who was it? Was it the lead setter or was it the salesperson? Who was it? Because I tell you what, the lead setters want to be like, well, the sales rep didn't go out there and do what they were supposed to do. And the sales rep want to be like, they didn't set me a 2-legged lead. What was I supposed to do? I can't sell if it's not a 2-legged lead. What are they? If I could just get some good leads, I could actually sell something. And that's what we hear. But the answer to the question of who creates the one leg is both of us. See, both the lead setter has a chance to create the one leg, and us sales reps have a real opportunity to create a one leg. And sometimes we spend too much time thinking about, because 60% of the time it is the lead setter. But guess what? That leaves 40% of the time it's us. You see, I don't know if you've heard Rodney this year, but our theme for the year is accountability and appreciation, right? We got to be appreciative of those lead setters busting their tail to try to get us 2-legged leads. But at the same time, we have to be accountable to do what we're supposed to do. So you got to appreciate your lead setters, your canvassers, your home show workers. You got to appreciate those people because they're doing a hard freaking job. And we got to hold ourselves accountable because there's a few things that create one legs that we have to make sure of, that we're aware of. So on the lead setter side, here's some things that create one legs. And a lot of you salespeople are not going to have any idea what we're talking about. But some of the things that create one legs is not asking the work questions. Not asking the people, do you work days or nights? And does your husband or wife work days or nights? That is a big thing that can create one legs. Also, not asking about scheduled activities. Is it a planned activity night? Is it a softball, church, kids soccer, anything like that? We also have to watch that we make sure we special trip the lead and let the people know that our representatives are making a special trip out to show it to the both of them. And the last thing out there is not getting a commitment from the customer that both parties will be there. All of those things on the lead setter side can cause big problems in getting one legs. It can cause big problems. But you know what? Let's look at what we have to deal with. Guys, let's think about this. What about showing up on time? If we don't show up on time, the amount of one legs that we get goes up tremendously. And guess what? That's not the lead setter's fault. What about this one? And this is one I bet y'all never even thought of. How about showing up too early? Oh, well, what do you mean? My first lead canceled. I just called the other one and see if they could go a little early. See if I could get out there a little early. That way I can get home early. What about in the middle of the day, we show up too early? And then it turns into a one leg. Listen, the lead setter set it up for both of them to be there. We went there an hour ahead of time because we got out of another lead fast. And all of a sudden it's a one-legger. And then we mad at the lead setter. If you show up too early, you move the lead. You go early because your other lead blew out. You created the one leg, not the lead setter. How about this one? Not talking to both people or what we call the elusive party in the warm-up. You'll see this today because we're going to go through some role play that a lot of times it's real easy to talk to the person who's really interested in the project and not to the person who's not. And it can cause a big, big issue. How about not getting both people, or at least the elusive party, out to your inspection? She or he's doing something else. They're busy. They're on a phone call. And we just don't even think about trying to get them both there. See, when it turns into a one leg later because she leaves to go do something or picks up and leaves or has to go run an errand, we created that one leg, not the lead setter. So when you come back and say, she wouldn't sit down and look at this stuff, you created that one-legger. Your lead setter got her there. You didn't keep her there. And the last one is not moving the elusive party closest to you during the pitch. And we'll go through some of this stuff, right? But you have to make sure you include the person that's the hardest to get involved, not just the person that's the easiest to get involved. Man, this is huge, guys, because just like we can't worry about the lead setter, right? It's no different than Nick Saban in Alabama. It's no different than the Super Bowl last night. You have to worry about what you can control, and you can't control the lead setter. Let the lead setter worry about the lead setter, or let your managers work. See, that's the reason this system is so awesome. It's the reason it's the best in the world. The reason is we have an entire setup and an entire division dedicated to just dealing with lead setters. Man, Rodney does a call every month that he critiques lead setters' calls. He listens to them. I mean, he's a whole division just dealing with lead setters, and we're seeing demo rates go through the roof. But you know what? Guess what? They don't talk about sales reps on their calls. They don't worry about the sales reps. They worry about them. Let's us control, because that's all we can do. Do what we can do at the very, very best of our ability. And let's look at it like this. Rodney told you last month that the reason one legs are so important is that home improvement projects are a syncretic decision, right? He talked about this last month, if you guys remember, that's a decision where the husband and wife or the spouses decide together, right? That is what happens in these situations, and it is very, very important that they do decide together in home improvement decisions. You see, whether we get the one leg from the lead or whether we make it a one leg from us doing it, it's still a one leg, which still makes it hard for people to make a decision. So we hear things like, let me think about it, which is something that we all would love to avoid, right? And Rodney showed you the data. Out of 150 times, only 13 times people made the decision without their wife. That's less than 10%. 90% of the time, they had to make the decision together. 90%. So you can basically, if you don't get them both involved, that's why we tell you do everything you can to keep it from being a one leg. Just like we tell the lead setters, I don't care if you don't like those questions. We're doing everything we can to make it a two-legged lead, because if we don't, we got less than a 10% shot of selling it. And who wants to close at 10%? Nobody. So what we do is we do everything we can to get it to be a one leg from the lead setter's perspective and from the sales rep's perspective. So let me show you what I'm talking about. You see, Rodney said last month that resetting a one leg is business as usual and as easy as 1, 2, 3. Y'all remember that. We go through and we do our warm-up. We go through and we do all the inspection and take her on the inspection and take whoever's there on the inspection. We shoot our video. We don't show it. We take our measurements. We don't give them to them. And then we tell them, hey, the office is going to call them back. This is the normal way we do it. Y'all remember that from last time? Well, sometimes you're going to run a lead, and we're going to have both people there. And what we say is avoiding a one leg is as simple as 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. That's how we avoid a one leg. Okay, so here's the thing I want you guys to see, and here's the thing I want you guys to understand. We do everything on numbers, and 99% of the time, our numbers correlate with what step we're in. So everybody knows step 1 is the warm-up. Now, what we did here at Ridge Valley about a month ago is we did what we call a mock demo, is what we call it, okay? And if you guys work with us, either Rodney's been there and done it, or one of us has been there and done it, and if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you get with your coach and get it done. You see, our boot camp is all going to be all about the power of practice, right? What practice can do. So we're going to show you how to do round-robin role plays, how to do inside the customer's head role plays, how to do on-the-spot critiques. And this one, what we're going to show you today, we're going to give you a little sneak peek of how to do a mock demo critique, right? And you guys are going to be able to see if this was you and this was you in the mock demo, how would you look? And I want you to think about it. So step 1 to keeping it from being a one leg in the warm-up. Let's watch this video. This is some live game film, and I'm here with these guys here at Ridge Valley. And ain't none of them know that they about to be on live TV in front of everybody. So they're watching. So here we go. Let me show you what we got.
Hey, what's happening, man?
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. It's freezing out here.
Yeah, it's pretty cold. I guess you want to come on in. It's cold, man.
Hey, you know, I noticed you got a basketball goal. I didn't see any kids here the other day. You got kids?
Oh, yeah, I got 3.
Really? Is that why you guys have the Traverse out there?
Yeah. She's got to have the 3 seats to kind of, you know.
You got to tell me about that, because we are desperate need for a vehicle, and I got 3 kids too. So any information you got about a car like that, just give it to me.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great car. It's been awesome. We've taken it down to Florida 2-3 times now. We really love it. So it's good. Yeah, and then the 3 kids have space to jump around and do their thing in the back and not be on top of it. Because if you do the bench seat as a second row, it's tough, right? Because they're right there, and then they're gonna murder each other. So now, since see they're doing it right now, right? So in the with the captain's chairs in the second row, then it's at least there's separation amongst the troops. So it's kind of good. How you been, man?
I've been good, man. Just chugging along. How about you guys? You guys have a good weekend?
Yeah, Kid had basketball game back to back. Pulled out a W, then pulled out a loss. And that's
Good start.
Hey, man, I'm Mike.
Yeah.
John Brody.
my brother's in town. Kind of does a little bit of what you guys do.
Oh, okay.
A little contracting work,
I'm
stuff
down
like
in Florida, though, so.
A little bit different, but kind of the same.
Yeah, I was hoping to see some snow this weekend. It didn't work out.
Hey, it's in the forecast for tomorrow. I mean,
I gotta go.
They don't-
I gotta go back.
they don't really know what's going on anyway, so you might be like,
All right, you
you want to camp out right here?
Yeah, we can sit right here.
I'm just curious, man. How long have you guys been thinking about replacing your roof?
Yeah, we've seen a couple of the roofs in the neighborhood get done, and
All right, Connor, come on up here. Come on, bring you a chair around here. Come on. Come on, baby. They didn't know they were going to have to do this in front of everybody, so. All right, this is a good rep right here, man. Adam's a good rep. So, did you see some of the critiques up there, right?
Yeah.
When you saw it on the film, I mean, could you see that you never even addressed her?
Obvious as day, plain as day.
Did you see, I mean, at the end, did you see you just walked right past her?
Yeah.
You didn't even stop and be like, hey. I mean, she was standing there. I know she's small compared to us, but she was in there somewhere.
Yeah. Yep.
So, hold on. If you were that wife, right, would you want to participate? I mean, the guy didn't even introduce himself to you. I mean, would you think in your head, well, maybe I can go do something else? He don't really seem to want to talk to me at all. Yep. Now, the elusive party doesn't necessarily have to be the wife. I mean, if you're selling countertops or kitchens or closet renovation or new flooring, a lot of times the elusive party is the husband. Because he don't want to talk about it. He's appeasing her because she's been talking about it forever. Now with a roof, it's probably the wife. She's like, I don't care about this roof. But they told me to be here, so I'm here. But then you got her there, and you didn't even talk to her. You barely said hello to her, and I was the brother, had to introduce myself. So is there ever a time you lose the wife in the middle of the demo?
Never.
Never? Oh,
Never.
Of course not. Can you see why it might be happening?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, let me show you guys the opposite of that, right? And I did the same thing. I showed up in some Ridge Valley gear, same couple, same house. Let me show you the difference in doing it the right way, in the bilimbic way, versus just taking the easy way out, the most comfortable way, which is to talk to the person who already wants to talk to you. Check this out.
Hey, how's it going, John?
Hey.
Good to see you again.
what's up?
Mike again.
Good.
How's it going today?
It's awesome.
Hey, how's it?
Come
Hey,
on
how
in.
you doing?
It's my wife Ashley.
Ashley, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
He's one that
You do all the decorating? I know it's not him. You gotta be the decorator. Yeah?
That is me. I will take credit for that.
Where's the kiddos today? I see leaving toys everywhere.
Yes, all
Boys?
the time. All the time, yes.
So I saw one. Is it just one you guys have?
3
3?
hands full.
You deal with four little boys in this house?
I do.
Alright, John.
Yeah, it's okay. It's true.
How's it going today?
Good.
Everything going good?
Good.
Yeah. Awesome. Can we sit down for a minute?
Yeah. Can I get you anything with the water, coffee?
Coffee be great.
Coffee? Awesome.
Little coffee.
Coffee be awesome.
Doing some work there.
What the heck is that thing over there? That ain't no K-cup. What is that?
Oh, no. It's an espresso.
What is an espresso?
It's kind of like a Keurig, I guess, but I guess it's a little fancier. You can't find it anywhere. I got to order the pods because they don't have the store here. But it's
So what makes it different than an espresso? I mean, what makes it different than like a Keurig? What is the difference?
I think the pods are like, there's just more flavors, and the pods are exclusive to just this machine, right?
Correct.
It's Italian coffee.
Yeah, it's
so I
Italian
feel
coffee.
It's maybe richer or.
And it, like, is there a lot of different kinds, or like just one kind, or does it make like, is it espresso? What is it? Is it espresso, or
It
is
does
it?
both.
So it does both.
which is the cool part. Yeah, so you can do your espresso, or you can do like your American coffee, which is what I actually have for you.
Oh, cool. And
But
so I assume it's probably a little bit more expensive than like the K-Cups and stuff like that.
it is, but it's definitely cheaper. Like if you go to Starbucks every day.
Oh, cheaper than Starbucks, but not as cheap as K-Cups.
Right.
Okay,
You know,
fair enough.
medium.
Yeah, you like it though? How long you had it?
I think about 2 Christmases ago we got it.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
So use it, I assume every day? You coffee drinkers?
Every day.
Me too, yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
Life cannot go on.
What's your favorite flavor? So if I was to get it, what would be the one you would suggest?
The caramel.
Caramel?
Yes. But I like sweet coffee.
Okay.
So
I like sweet coffee too. My wife loves drinking. Starbucks is her thing, so
yes.
I'm trying to wean her back off of it, you know.
It was
Starbucks
awesome.
will happen sometimes, huh? You had one too?
I sure did. Because
Yeah.
I got this and I'm like, okay, I can do this. It's convenient, it's at home, it's cheaper, so
Nice.
you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a
Cream and sugar?
No, black is fine.
Perfect.
it's a bit of a upfront cost, but the long run of it, it's like about $2 per cup of coffee.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than 5.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely get your money back. It takes a little bit, it's like a $300 machine, but
All right, stop. Now, Connors, think about that, right? I mean, let's get his let's get Connor's thoughts about this, right? So, what'd you notice the big differences between what you did versus what you saw me do?
You really, hardly even talk to the husband at all.
Why do you think I didn't talk to the husband?
I assume you'd already talked to him.
Because I said good to see you again, which means
Right.
I probably talked to him when the lead was set. And it's a roofing project, so he's probably taking the lead. Probably whoever's answering the door is probably taking the lead. Now, if the wife answers the door and she's the elusive party, what's she going to do when she answers the door? Let me go get my husband is exactly what she's going to do. You're going to know who the elusive party is. You should know it pretty easy. The person who wants to talk to you is probably not the elusive party. The person who's kind of lingering and hanging around and, one's a dog and one's a cat, right? The dog is not the elusive party. The cat's the one you got to pull out from underneath the bed that don't want to talk to you. So you see what I'm talking about there. So what we have to do is instead of just making the easy warm-up, which would be just focusing on the person who seems to be interested to talk to you, we got to get uncomfortable, right? And really push to talk to somebody besides the husband, right? And we all know getting people to teach you something is great. Easy to get women to do that. It's something you don't know about. Get them to teach you something. Does that make sense, Connors? So let's focus on that. Got it? All right, man. Cool. All right, let's keep going. So that's step 1, guys. That's where we get in step 1 to – let me pull this back up. Everybody see my screen again? Thumbs up. All right.
Hey, how's it going, John?
So the next place we have to look at is in step number 2, which is the inspection. So we have to make sure we know what's going on in the inspection, right? And we got to make sure we get the elusive party involved in the inspection. You see, we can't just worry about the warm-up. Now, after that warm-up, she's probably a little more apt to go along with what I say. She's a little more engaged. She's a little less likely to go dip out and do something else. She's probably engaged in what you're talking about, right? The next part is keeping them engaged, right? We can't just keep going through the same old thing and expect them to keep engaged, right? So let me show you this. If we don't keep them involved in the inspection, it can become an issue too. So let's go to another mock demo and let's see what we actually seem to do in the house.
Well, John, if you would, I see you got your shoes on already.
yeah.
Would you mind hopping outside with me real quick and taking a look at some stuff out there?
Sure.
All right. And actually, while we're out there, this is a list of some of my customers that I worked with recently.
Okay.
If you would, go ahead and give these people a call. And for every one of them that you actually get a hold of and talk to, I'm able to give you $50 off. So that's a $300 piece of paper right there. If you don't know what to ask them, there's some questions on the bottom. Did I do everything I said I would do? Did we clean up after ourselves? And if they had to do the process over again, would they use Ridge Valley?
Okay.
So go ahead and give those people a call, and John and I will be right back.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank
Cool.
you, Bill.
Take me out here to the bitter cold.
You got a jacket on.
All right, stop. Come here, Nate. I got your seat right here, buddy. Now, guys, this is how we get better. You come to our deals, you come to our events, you have us into your office and do some real training. This is real life how you get better. Adam back there can't be like, I don't warm up like that. Yeah, you do. Dude, here's the house. It was a real life husband and wife, right? That's how you warm up, bro. Nate, what were you doing in there? What's up with sell the reference list in step friggin' 2? What's going on, man?
Different situation.
You dropped my S off the end of my Seahawks. What happened?
Not sure.
Okay. How in the world could we ever get both people out there to do the walk around or the inspection if you have her calling the list? That is impossible. Absolutely impossible to do. You can't go out there and set up that you need to tell her about some stuff in your demo. You can't go out there and set up that, hey, let me show you some of the ventilation. That's something I want to show you later. You can't set up any of that stuff that makes her think that she wants to hear your demo because you're the expert. All she's going to do is sit in there and call some lists, and John might think you're the expert, and he's going to have to come in there and tell his wife that you're the expert. And we know, does your girl believe you? No. Heck no, she don't. No, she don't believe you either. You've been telling her you're going to marry her forever, and she don't believe that either, but maybe someday. Right? So what we need to know, right, is we can't have the other person, the person who wants us there saying, hey, you got to listen to this guy. He really knows what he's talking about. Because she's like, I don't want to listen to that stuff. You deal with it. You deal with the outside of the house. Y'all heard that. I deal with the inside. She deal with the inside. I deal with the outside. But if you get her outside and you can prove, and the same thing we all countertop people, oh, she deals with all the decorations. I just deal with the roof and stuff like that. So you can deal with her. You got to get both of them involved so they can both believe you're the expert. Because how do they need to make the decision? Together. And if one of them thinks you're the expert and one of them doesn't, what percentage of the time are you going to get a decision? 10%. 9.5%. Think about that. That's huge. We just basically, she couldn't come out of that inspection if she wanted to. She'd have to be like, no, I am not calling this list until after the attic inspection. No way I'm calling it until after the attic inspection because I know you're going to do that here in a few minutes. I want to go on this walk around with you. Let's go look at this house. Unless you get that customer, you are not going to get Mrs. Jones outside. No chance. Does that make sense? This could be something so simple for you guys that you guys are doing and don't even realize it. We might not even realize we're not asking her to come with us. See, when I go in, I do it totally different. I assume that she is going to come outside with me. And it's few and far between that I do not get her outside, even if it's cold outside. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
I understand completely. Hey, do me a favor. I know you're in a light sweater. If you could grab a jacket and some shoes, I want to show y'all a couple things outside that I noticed when I was driving up. But throw some shoes on real fast. Walk outside with me real fast. I want to show you a couple things.
Okay.
Look how simple that was. If it's cold outside, hey, grab a jacket for me. Y'all got a coat closet down here. Grab a quick coat. It doesn't have to be designer, right? We're just going outside real fast. Put your shoes on. I want to show you a couple things. 90% of the time, she'll go, okay. Especially if you had what, Connors? If you actually what? If you actually talked to her during the dang warm-up. And you didn't just turn your nose up at her. Oh, like it's Downton Abbey that we don't even talk to the women. They just go right by. Come on, baby. This is 2018, man. You got to talk to both parties. Same thing with here. You asked her to not come. If you ask me not to come, I'm going to chill. If my wife's like, hey, you want to come help me do the dishes? Nope. Hey, would you rather sit on the couch? You can sit on the couch. I'm going to do the dishes. You think I'm going to get up and be like, nah, I need to do that dishes stuff too. Of course you're not going to go outside. It's cold, and you gave her something else to do. But if you'd have said, hey, John, Ashley, hey, y'all put your shoes on, grab a coat, come outside. For just a couple minutes, I want to show you a few things. And they will come. They will, because they want to know about their house. And whether they know it or not, they're going to make a syncretic decision. So they're going to need to make it together. And especially on those inside projects where the elusive party is the husband, the wife probably wants the husband to be involved. So she'll be on your side, not against you. For those projects that are very design-oriented, like bathrooms, kitchens, closets, and flooring. She'll probably want you to get him involved, and she'll appreciate that you did. Because she's going to have to convince him later. And it's better if you can help her with that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, all right, let's keep going. All right, you good? All right, the next step that we got to make sure that we keep and don't cause a one-legged lead, right, is in the company story. People are like, company story? What? What's company story got to do with anything? Nothing. I mean, it's just a company story. I pitch. I talk to them both. But do you? Let's watch that. Hey, these mock demos ain't no joke. I hope they're coming to your city soon if they haven't been there. What's wrong, Thomas? Oh, you knew it was you, didn't you?
My beard.
Oh, you missed your beard. Yeah, you missed a few things in this. Let's watch it.
Okay, so once again, my name is Thomas. I represent Ridge Valley Exteriors. We are definitely not the biggest roofing contractor or general contractor in the Atlanta area. We don't want to be the biggest. We don't really want to advertise on the radio. We want to be the best. We try to set the standard for roofing in the Atlanta area. I'm going to show you how, okay? One of the first ways we did it was.
This does not even seem like a big deal. But John, you were wearing the GoPro, right? Can you see that screen from here? If you can see it, barely, right? You are pitching his brother. Where's your wife at, John? She at the other end of the table. Literally, she's at the other end of the table. So she is literally, A, it's not facing her, and B, it's every bit of 8 to 10 feet away from her. Now, hold on a second. How big is your computer screen? Thomas, come on up here. Now, Thomas, he a little country, right? So bear with him a little bit, right? Because he might not answer these questions the way I expect him to. So bear with me. Thomas a little country. All right, so Thomas, let's talk about this. All right, 10 feet away, right? That doesn't seem like that far, right? Probably from me to the back, to the back corner of the room, about 10, 12, 15 feet, right? How big is your computer? 15 inches, 13 inches?
That's the same
13 inches, the same time as everywhere else? So 13-inch computer. Can you imagine? I want you to think about this. The Super Bowl was last night. Can you imagine if you put up on your mantle, hung it on the wall, a 13-inch screen, and sat 12 feet away from it and watched that Super Bowl? How good would that be? Terrible, right? It would be awful. So when you look at this, we have two different options, right? You got two options. See, Rodney don't give you two options too often, but I'm a nice guy. I'm going to give you two options, guys, to fix this. You can either carry a 65-inch TV that you can plug your laptop into and you can leave her 10 feet away, or you got to move her close. If you're watching your iPad or you're watching a 13-inch computer, you're not watching it from the other side of the table. Otherwise, you can't see. And once you can't see and can't read the words, what ends up happening to you? You lose interest. So when she gets up to go check on the kids, or she gets up to go look at her phone, or she gets up to go start cooking dinner, or she gets up to go do something else, who created that one leg? We created the one leg. We did it. It wasn't her. But guess what? How many times do we get into these situations? Wherever they're sitting, we just sit down somewhere, open our computer, and start pitching. Maybe every time. Maybe every friggin' time. We don't pay attention to strategically setting up the best place for us to be. Right? We don't work through that, right? Right now, if I'm the brother at the end of this pitch, what might I end up saying? Man, Tom is a good guy. I think you should buy from him. And then you at what? $11,000 worth of upgrades, and people are like, oh, we'll think about this. Because guess what? Everything was focused at me, and I live in Florida. I'm getting on a plane tonight. If anything, it should be faced at least towards John, but best case scenario is faced towards Ashley or the wife or the elusive party, wife in this situation. Because if you face it to the elusive party, they're automatically the most engaged. You did one great thing that he has a clicker in his hand. I don't know if you can see that, but he's got a clicker. So he has the ability to do this. If you guys don't have a clicker, you should have a clicker by the end of the day.
Get a clicker.
Get a clicker. Why'd y'all get a clicker?
He told us to.
And if not, you what?
$500.
It was a $500 fine. They didn't have a clicker. So guess what? Everybody here got clickers now. We're good. Right?
They sold out.
They were all gone at every Best Buy within 50 miles. So what we understand is the clicker allows us to do stuff that we wouldn't normally be able to do, which is make sure everything we do is focused on the elusive party. Hey, how many times do you think you do that on a regular basis? Don't face it or don't think about it. It might not even don't face it. Don't think about who you're facing it to.
I've caught myself doing it before. I screwed up.
And guess what happens when you face and this is part of the company story too, when you face the computer toward the non-elusive party, guess who you end up talking to the whole time? The non-elusive party. And then at the end, who kills your deal? The elusive party kills your deal. Because you made it a one leg. And it's not a syncretic decision. So when they say they got to think about it and talk about it and spend some time and they'll call you the next couple of days, you made them say that, not them made them say that. See, when we control what we do, it makes a world of difference. Watch this.
Who'd you get a hold of on that list?
These two people down here.
That's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they say?
Good things. They said that you helped get their response and they were pleased and happy with the work you did.
Okay. Awesome.
Good things.
Awesome. Hey, Ashley, do me a favor. Will you come sit right here? Sure. I'm going to sit over here so you both can see this.
Okay.
We can pull this out a little bit. Awesome. And, let me show you things real fast. Now, click your here. So what I want you to do is I want you to be able to see kind of what's going on up there.
I mean, look at this right here. This computer, now, John can still see it better than he could see it before. But who's in prime time to see it right here, Thomas? The wife is prime to see it. Now, because we had a good warm-up, we didn't avoid her, Connors, right? And because we took her outside for a walk-around, Nate, now by the time it gets to Thomas, right? We equal opportunity offenders here at Rodney Webb University. By the time it gets to Thomas, he can get, if I say, hey, Ashley, do me a favor, move right over here to this seat, she moves. She doesn't fight me on it. And then she sits down. Once she gets seated down, now I can move the computer because I have a clicker. What don't I have to reach, Thomas? That is very distracting. What is that? I don't have to reach the mouse pad or the click or the arrow button or whatever you guys hit.
Well, I was using my phone. I was having a lot of issues.
It has a lot of issues, right? You got to get a dedicated clicker because look at me right there. I'm sitting behind the computer. If you guys don't know your slides good enough to sit behind the computer, that's on you. You need to get better at it. but I'm sitting behind the computer and I can talk to her, make sure she's watching, make sure he's catching enough of it because he's already interested, right? He's trying to fix his roof. Roof is leaking. I got to fix it. Now I get her involved. Now they can make a syncretic decision, right? And it doesn't have to be one convincing the other or this person saying we need to do this, but this is too much money. Should we do it? And we don't create, I got to think about it or let us talk about it and then we'll let you know. If we create that, the only thing some of you guys do that's terrible is you say, all right, y'all talk about it. I'll step outside for a minute and then tell me your decision. And all you do is add a bunch of pressure. You think, ain't nobody ever come up with that before? Come on, man. It's called a porch light. It's been around forever. They think they just created that. Oh, dang, I thought that was a new one. No, they knew about that. I was going to introduce that to Rob, see if he ever heard of that before. Don't do that. He will laugh at you, right? What we need to understand is all of this plays into the syncretic decision. Does that make sense? You got to make sure that you address both of them, right? You got to get both of them involved. You got to drive both of them to what you're talking about, right? And if you get them both involved, you have a much better shot of closing the deal. Whether that be the husband that's the elusive party or the wife that's the elusive party, if you lose either one of them, you only got about a 9% chance of closing. Does that make sense, guys? All right, so thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it. So if we look at this, guys, we talk about simple as 1, 2, 4, right? It's as simple as 1, 2, and 4. That's all we have to do, okay? If we make it that simple, we get good results. If we don't make it that simple, we don't get good results. The first thing we have to do is we got to make sure to make an effort to talk to the more elusive person. I think that's something that all of us struggle with. I don't care. It's just natural for us to talk to the easy person to talk to. And that's why y'all's warm-ups never get any better, because we're not pushing to get past the easy, comfortable thing that we can do. The next thing is we got to make sure to tell both parties that you need them outside. And don't let them go in. If it's cold, tell them put a jacket on. If it's raining, tell them listen, umbrellas are like $15. Get 3 of them, put them in your car, and give each person an umbrella. Dude, we're running homeowners. They ain't been in the rain before. They ain't going to melt. And the last part is to move the more elusive person closer to you and face the computer at them. Does that make sense? All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to give you guys a little bit of a let me turn this back. We're giving you a little bit of a look into how we do critiques followed up with role play. So the first one up was Connors. Come on over, Connors. You go walk in my door right there, right? Come here. We gonna have John here. Where we at? Right here? You see us? So we got John. He gonna be the husband. And just so we know we make things real around here, we got us a wife. So we got us a wife. Let's do this. All right, so come on in, Connors. Who's there, honey?
I think it's that roofer.
Oh, that roofer guy you saw yesterday? Okay. Oh, hey, man, what's up?
Hey, it's John. What's it?
John's here.
Adam, man, how you been?
Hey, Adam, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Look at the size of this TV. How you doing, man? My name's Adam.
How you doing, Michelle?
Oh, nice to meet
Nice
you,
to meet
Michelle.
you.
So what you guys got going on here? You guys
Man,
got
he just
Minecraft
got that
or
for the
something?
Super Bowl.
Oh,
He just bought that. He's so proud of it.
I am.
He just got that for the
It
Super
looks
Bowl.
nice. You got a camera on there too. Are you guys gamers or something like that?
The kids.
That's a kid.
Oh.
But he hooked it
You
all
got
up.
kids? How many kids you got? 3 kids?
Yeah, we're done now, though.
I was
We're
going to
done.
ask, I mean, how old are
Definitely
you?
done
'Cause you got to be pulling your hair out by now, having this guy, and then you got roof issues and a kid and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Hair's everywhere all the time.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's, you guys got a place we could sit down?
Yeah, you can sit right here at the table. This is
Okay,
easy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put your chair there. I'll put mine right here. That'd be great. I'm just curious, you guys got some issues up there. How long have you guys been thinking about getting your roof replaced?
All right, stop. Look at that warm-up. Look at how much better that was on that warm-up. Let me get you back. Let me get you back to the real haircut. Think about how much better that was. You got me involved. I talked a little bit. You could have kept going about the TV. Did you let him? Did he finally make you get the TV? Did he finally? How long he been asking for a new TV? Where'd y'all get it? I mean, you could have kept that rolling and kept me interested, right? If he gets a new TV, what's he going to get you? You really could have kept that rolling, but you did a great job by introducing yourself, right? That's a step because you didn't do that last time, right? You did a great job introducing yourself, but what you got to do is keep it rolling, right? You got to keep that going. I mean, we're not even 45 or 50 seconds into a warm-up. You're asking transition questions. Now, I know it's not a lot in here to talk about right now because we're in the office, but a TV is enough to keep it going. That's enough. And just keep it going. Talk, keep rolling. The kids, right? You said you got 3 kids. I said, yeah, we're done. Really? How old are they? You say you're done. Not even one more? I mean, you got 3 kids. You know about having too many kids. I mean, you think about it. If I come into your house and talk to your wife and she got 3 kids, she's probably willing to talk about the kids probably for 3 hours if you let her. Yeah. Keep it going. Right? That's how you get me involved. That's how I think. This is not just a roofing talk. This is a guy who wants to talk to us, and I don't mind listening to him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Changes that perspective up a lot.
All right, awesome. All right, appreciate it. Nate, you're up. So Nate jacked up the freaking inspection.
Oh, yeah.
So let me get back. I got to put Michelle back on. Hold on one second. Get Michelle, get her back on, right? How we looking? We good? All right. All right. Nate, so we're done talking. You just ask the transition question. Ask me a transition question.
So, Mike, how long have you guys been thinking about?
I'm not Mike, I'm Michelle. Oh, you're so rude. I know I have a beard, but come on.
Sorry, Michelle. So, Michelle, how long you guys been thinking about replacing the roof?
When did we get that leak? We got that leak 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah,
All
something
right.
like that.
Well, what made you guys decide to do it today?
We were just getting an estimate. We're not. We got to talk to the guy who did the one across the street, and then you guys did another one. So we're talking to both of you guys.
All right, I understand. Hey, will you guys do me a favor and throw your shoes on real quick and come outside with me? I got a few things I want to show you.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Hold on. Let me get a coat real fast.
Yeah, grab a coat real quick. It's a little cold out there.
All right, stop. How hard was that, Nate?
Not hard at all.
How many times do you think you're actually missing having the wife out there just because we did it? That ain't nothing to do with the customer. Ain't nothing to do with the lead center. That's everything to do with us. Yep. So we'll definitely fix that quick. And the reference list comes at the end when we're going up to do the attic inspection. Yeah, that's the last thing we do. So don't give me because, dude, I love how you sold the reference list. Mm-hmm. I just don't like when you did it because now you kept me from coming out or you kept the elusive party from coming out. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, Thomas, bring your computer up here. Let me put Michelle back on. The old girl, she comes and goes sometimes. Fabulous. I think I'm still looking good. Should have bought a ponytail holder. All right, so walk back in the house. John's going to answer the door. I'm sitting here at the kitchen table.
We're doing a full warm-up and all that?
No, you're just walking back in the house from after you priced it. Okay. You come back in to pitch. Hold on. All right, here we go.
Okay, John. If we could, let's go to the kitchen table and sit down and go over a few things with you and Michelle. If you would just sit on that side of the table. Oh, okay. Just sit beside your wife.
Yeah, sit behind me, honey. Come on.
Y'all get nice and close.
Okay.
Here we go. Take a look at it. And then I will run it like that.
Okay. All right, stop. Not bad. Look at the screen, though. Am I facing it completely? All right. So one of the keys that I find, right, that really, really works, guys, is for you to sit on one corner, one person, the elusive party to sit on the end, and then the other person to sit on the other corner, right? So watch this. Move me to the end.
Okay. Hey,
So-
Michelle, if you would, do me a favor. Come down here for me.
Okay. Here, switch these seats.
Here.
Sit here.
Sit here.
Let me see. So now look at this. And if you turn it just a hair like that, he can see fine. I'm engaged. You're the closest to me. So guess what? When you do your product demo, when you do your installation process, when you do all of that stuff, you're going to be talking more to me because you're actually facing me. From John's perspective, I want you to see this. This is my perspective right here. This is John's perspective. So literally, you are 100%, you're facing the way your computer's facing. And that's what we naturally do. So one of the easiest ways, and you can take from this meeting, to keep the people on where we need them to be, is to put the elusive party on the end of the table, and you sit on the other side from them and put the husband or whoever else on the other side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just move them. They won't argue with you, I promise. And if they do, your warm-up was terrible anyways, right? You Connors the whole thing, so it happens sometimes. All right, guys, I appreciate it.
And I got full Connors.
So what I want you guys to get is that there's 3 different places that we make sure that we go through these things, right? We do step 1, step 2, and step number 4. If we make sure we involve the elusive party at all 3 of those spots, what it allows us to do is to make sure that they can make a syncretic decision. If you don't, it's not your lead setter's fault, it's our fault. Control what we can control, accountability, and appreciation. I'm going to open this up for any questions. Anything that anybody's got as far as a question, raise your hand. Questions.
I got one.
Who is that? Announce who it is.
This is Ray with Exterior Social Tidewater.
All right, Ray, talk to me.
All right, so talking about getting the elusive party involved. We get there and the husband answers the door and you ask for the missus and she's either in the shower, putting her makeup on, or, hey, she's in the office working, she's working from home today. How long should the warm-up continue until she gets done? How do we get her involved?
Okay, so here's the thing. That's 2 different situations in my opinion, right? The one you told me that she's in the shower and she's going to be out, right? A lot of times we get that because we show up too early, right? A lot of times we get that she's in the shower because we show up 15 minutes early instead of 5 minutes early. Because our lead setters, if they're following the Bialimbic confirmation script, should be telling the people, should be setting the appointment 30 minutes after they get home. Most of the people already took a shower by then if they went to the gym or something like that. But the one situation that she's in the shower or she's almost home or something like that, right? Then, yeah, you're going to extend your warm-up, and as soon as she gets there, she's going to become the focus of all of your warm-up, right? And you're going to hold off going to do your inspection until she can come. Absolutely. The second one is what you talked about that I would definitely treat totally different. And what the second one was is she's in the office. She works from home. Oh, look, Michelle's still on me. Dang. What's going on, Michelle? Get off me. Friggin', she's in the office and she's working and she's on conference calls all day, right? She can't join you because she's in the office, right? That's a different situation, right? In those situations, I take the January sales meeting and I reset because she's not going to be able to get away to do what you need to do to make a syncretic decision. So that was 2 different things. The first couple things you were talking about, I would wait. The second one, I would reset. That make sense? Any other questions? We got New Jersey. Is that who we got up there? Come on with it. Nobody's gonna be able to understand, but come on. Hold on. I'll unmute you. Hold on.
Okay, there we go.
You now?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Oh, two things. Number one, what's a syncretic decision? And number two, give me your best move in order to plop a seat down at the kitchen table or on the couch and get talking.
All right, so number one, what a syncretic decision is. Go back and watch the January 2017 live boot camp. Basically what it is, a decision that people need to make as both parties, right? So go back. If you weren't on that January, are you on the university, man?
Yeah.
All right, well, get on there and do some lessons then. Go back and look at that stuff. The guy who did it's named Rodney Webb. I don't know if you ever heard of him before.
I think I've heard him once or twice, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it probably benefits you to watch those things. Hey, by the way, since we're talking about Rodney Webb, I hope all you guys know that Rodney's got a free webinar coming out in a couple weeks. If you don't have the login code for the free webinar, either contact your Rodney Webb University coach. You can go on Rodney's LinkedIn. There's a link, or you can contact Pat Riley, and we'll get you guys the link. The second thing, and I tell this to everybody, as far as a way to get to the kitchen table, we either say bring your clipboard and ask to set your stuff down there, or the real simple one, and this is a secret, you walk to the kitchen table. It's not really that complicated. If you're in somebody else's house and you walk to the kitchen table, they will follow you. They're not going to just chill on the porch.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Make sense? Any other questions? Hold on, let me mute you back. Any other questions out there? Questions. Oh, we got a question in here. I love it. I see you. Who is that? JV, is it San Antonio? You got a question? All right, hold on.
Now you gonna ask a question.
Go ahead, Joe.
Oh no, I said no, I don't have a question.
Oh, I thought you were trying to pull a card, get into some of this role play.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay, I didn't know. All right, what question you got, Robert?
So sometimes it's like the wife doesn't want to participate.
Oh, not sometimes. She never wants to participate in no roof sale.
I got here and the husband yells, "Hey, honey, you want to come in here and listen to this roofer?" What's the best way to get?
What are you pitching? Like mansions? I mean, she don't have to be like, hello. They don't have to intercom. She's just in the other room. Walk in the other room, holler at her. Hey there, how you doing, ma'am? Nice to meet you. Start talking.
Down the hallway a little bit.
Ask for her to come out. Hey, Mr. Jones, hey, go do me a favor. Go grab your wife. There's a couple things I want to show both of you outside real fast. Hey, just go grab her. Tell her to put a coat on. It won't take very long, I promise. Come on out real fast. Let me show you a couple things. Easy. Just ask them to do what you want them to do. Right? See, you guys got to understand, you guys are the experts. If you set yourself up as the expert, they're willing to do what you tell them to do. If you say, is there any chance possibly that maybe your wife would, if she feels like it, come out and maybe just for a couple minutes, peek her head around the corner for a second, if she could, to look at a couple things. Then you're going to get, nah, she don't really want to do that. Just come out. You can talk to me. Now, I'm not saying that's never going to happen, guys, but it's just going to happen less if you do it the right way. See, those ones we watched, and those mock demos, we were actually watching real life demos, how they look to a homeowner. We created that she wouldn't come outside. It wasn't that she was down the hall hanging out. Freaking Connors almost freaking elbowed her on the way by. Nate was sitting right next to her selling the reference list. She wasn't down the hall. She was sitting right there. See, I'm talking about the situations we can control. We always know. Don't be like, as always, well, what if she is in a hospital bed down the room and she can't get out of bed, but if she gets a wheelchair and there's no wheelchair ramp on the front, so she'd have to go through the garage, and to go through the garage, you have to actually move the car, And so if they move the car, there's already somebody parked behind them. So then they got to move the other car. I'm not talking about that one, right? I'm just talking about the regular situation. Does that make sense? All right, I see another hand. Who was up? Reggie, talk to me. Oh, that's Brian. What's up, bud?
Hey, what's up, Mike? You still got a little something right there. Just
Yeah,
wanted.
that's just Michelle hanging on. Don't worry about her.
Hey, so this is a scenario that's a little bit different than the ones we've been looking at. So this one, the wife booked the appointment. It was a Sunday morning appointment, and the husband answers the door, and I start trying to do a warm up. I had to be really quiet because the kids are still asleep, and so I'm trying to get find out a little bit more information, and he says that my wife's like super tired, the baby didn't sleep, she's not coming down. And so, and I'm trying to well, I mean, I have some questions for her, and I think she needs to know what's going on here, but whatever I tried, I couldn't get her down.
All right, so when he says she's not coming down, you knew right then what?
That she wasn't coming down, pretty much.
So what should you do?
I tried to do a reset, and he's like, well, come on, man, let me just do this with you.
Well, hold on a second. Did you watch a January live sales meeting?
Yeah.
He couldn't know you could do this because if you did it the way Rodney taught you to, he wouldn't know that that's not the normal thing to do.
Yeah.
Right? All you should be talking about is what they have and what they're looking to do, not how the process is going to go. If you were talking about, well, I really need her to come down and look at this presentation because I wanted to show her all this stuff on how we do things, and I want her to be able to look at the product and pick some stuff out. If you were saying all that, then you told him basically that you were planning on pitching today.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas if you'd have gone in there and go, tell me what you're looking for. And he's like, I don't really know. It's more of my wife's project, but she's just not feeling good today. She said something about she wanted like hardwoods and then, and then she wanted carpet in this room in here. And she wants kind of we got a lot of kids and pets, so she wants something that's durable. And then the hardwood, she wants she said she wants the tile that looks like hardwoods, not actual hardwoods, but the tile, and like a medium color is what she's looking for, and that's about what we're doing. And you said, okay, well, hey, let's look at the space, and you just went right into an inspection instead of trying to force her down or tell him that you needed to have her there so she could look at everything. He wouldn't have tried to get you to do it. Hey, Mr. Jones, what we usually do is we kind of get an idea of what you're looking for, measure the space. What I'll do is go put that into my digital calculation tool that I can actually pull everything exactly down to the 1/8 of an inch for you. And what I'll do is I'll come back out. I'll get the lead setter to call you and schedule a time for us to come back out and let you pick your products and give you a price down to the penny.
Yeah, that would have been better.
But you, because we're sales reps, right? You talk too much, which ends up telling him what you really, and you're probably pissed off because you were out there on a Sunday and you were mad because she wouldn't get out of bed because you had to get out of bed on Sunday and drive all the way over here because it was probably in Concord or something, which was 40 miles from your house. And so when you got there on a Sunday, you were pissed off. Look at you laughing. You know that's the truth. Dang, it's like it ain't nobody's fault but our own, right? Yeah. Take what you get. Follow the system, trust the system, and it will be fine, right? Don't try to fit a round peg in a square hole. Just do what we say. But definitely, it needs to be a syncretic decision. So you can pitch it. You got a 9% shot of selling it. Does that make sense? We got another question. Exceptional Exterior down there in Florida.
Hey, Mike. How you doing, brother? Can you hear me?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Hey, thanks for all the advice and everything. Coming across the situation here in Florida a lot where we have kind of a machismo situation. A lot of guys, maybe the Jersey boys can speak to this, but, no, my wife, she doesn't make any decisions. I make no decisions. Yeah. That's me. You don't need to talk to her. I don't know. Any tricks to the trade there to handle that situation? Especially when she believes it, up until you get to pre-close and then –
yeah, we know it's not true. That's not a big deal. That isn't even machismo. It's not the New Jersey thing. That's a cultural thing too. You'll get a lot of cultures out there, especially a lot of Indian people that don't want their wife involved. That's not atypical, right? That happens sometimes. what we got to do is we got to do the best we can. Now, if she's not there, we're resetting. If she is there, we're going to do everything we can to get her involved. I'm not saying she's always going to be involved. What I'm saying is we're going to do our part. Remember this, right? Accountability and appreciation. This crap ain't going to work every time, right? What we have to make sure is we're doing everything we can to make it work, right? If you get in there, all you got to do is introduce yourself to her. Start talking to her. He's not going to be like, don't talk to my wife. That's, if he does that, you probably don't want to sell the job because he got a few friends, right? But what I'm saying is just do what you're supposed to do. Move her if you can. There's going to be times she doesn't move, but how many times do we have that she would move that we don't? How many times that she would come out that we don't ask her to? How many times she would talk to us, we just don't talk to her? Because it's the easiest way to do, and it's the path of least resistance, and that happens all the time.
Cool. All right, thanks, man.
Make sense? Any other questions? Well, I got time for one more.
We have one.
Who is we have one?
Serving your first contracting.
All right, talk to me.
That's not us.
That's not us.
All right, I knew you. Serving you first, that wasn't you?
That wasn't
The
us.
girl-
Put on the screen, no.
All right, who? Unmute yourself if you got a question.
I said, yeah, I have a question.
All right, come on.
In a situation where you're talking to, say, the husband, and he says, oh, my wife will be home in an hour or 45 minutes or something like that, enough time where she would be there to catch at least a portion of the presentation, do you try and reset, or do you try and stall for as long as possible?
I would reset. And you could do a couple different things. We used to tell people that we had some stuff we had to catch up on real fast, or could I go grab a bite to eat and then come back? But the bottom line is I'm not going to pitch this lead, and I'm not going to go through my deal if I could ever get them both there, because we know it's a syncretic decision. We know the data says we need them both there. So unless it's impossible for me to get them both there, you say she's going to catch part of it. You know what she's going to catch? The price. She's not going to catch that you're an expert. She's not going to catch the video to know she needs to do it. She's not going to catch the warm-up to know that you're not a friggin' scumbag. She's not going to catch a lot of stuff that she needs to catch. Really, the stuff she don't need to catch is what she's going to catch in that situation, Lynn. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that makes
She's
sense.
going to miss all the important parts. So if she's going to miss all the important parts, then I'm going to wait to make sure she sees them.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right, guys, that's what we got today. I hope you got something out of this. I know this one leg thing is something that a lot of people worry about, a lot of people struggle with. Let's make sure that we help our lead setters out, that we do what we're supposed to do to keep it from being a one leg. I'll talk to you guys later. Hey, get that link in to go see the live web meeting with Rodney, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Trust the system, guys. See ya.